right, all right. Okay, y'all. So we have a very, very special episode for you all this evening. And I thank you all for tuning in. I thank you all for tuning in. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and get to this one right here. And I'm not even gonna hold this up. I'm gonna allow her to introduce herself. And I told you guys I was working on just building a new crew. So slowly but surely, we're just going to start introducing people one by one. But I damn sure want to make sure I bring her up. And without further ado, everybody, welcome the oh so lovely Miss Christina. What's going on?
Hi. Hello. How are you?
Uh, let me see. Let me turn. Hold on. Let me do this. Let me do this. Say something.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Let me check something real quick. Let me try this. Hold on. Let me see something. Let me see something. All right, say something.
What would you like me to say? Can you hear me?
There we go. Yeah, I had to. I just wanted to turn your mic up some so you're nice and crispy clear. All
Okay.
right, cool, man. All right, so everybody, welcome, welcome. Yes, this episode is called "Because You're Listening." That's right. That's right. Because you're listening. Today, we're going to hear from our homegirl right here. So, what you got for us this evening? Before we get into it, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure. I am Christina. As long as you don't call me late, you can call me whatever you'd like. And
Oh,
I, I guess I consider myself to be a mystic, someone
mm,
who is spiritually connected and on a path to spiritual ascension. And I have a message to get to the masses, and it's one of self love, emotional intelligence, ascension, and empowering. And it's all love. It really is all love.
I like that. I thank you. All right. So, thank you so much for gracing the stage. Definitely, we all appreciate you. We all appreciate you. So, we're going to go ahead and get into it. So, are you ready to kick this off? You ready to kick this off?
I am. This has been in the mix for a long time for me, so I'm super excited to be here. I can't even effectively articulate how happy I am to be in this moment.
Um, I just like to make sure I be a man of my word and keep my word. I told you I would make sure I help you get your voice out. So let's do that. All right. So let's just start here, one step at a time, right? One step at
One,
a time.
one step at a time.
That's right. That's it. Just one step at a time. That's what I'm talking about. All right. So I'm going to pull this video up, right? So let me go right here to boom. All right. Boom. So now the first part that we're going to speak about this evening, okay? And I thank everybody for tuning in. The time right now is 7:19 p.m. East Coast Standard Time, and I thank you all for watching. Now let me go ahead and hit the ensemble real quick. Give me 1 second. I have to call somebody. Hey, Nancy. Hey, how you doing, Nancy? If you don't mind, could you please hit the Oh, wow, wow, you're quick with it. Thank you, Nancy. Appreciate it. All right, everybody, thank Nancy for the ensemble. Now we're going to get into the video. We're going to get into the video. So let's do this. I'm going to pull this video up, and this is something I've been wanting to ask and speak about. You know why? Because this is something I believe a lot of people, Krissy, a lot of people get mixed up. They get wrong, the whole process of it when it comes to love, when it comes to the different phases and stages of it. So what I want to do is this. I want to pull this up. I'm going to play this quick clip. Okay.
Okay.
And then, all right. So when I play this quick clip, once it's done, I want for you to first tell us out of these four elements of love, okay, which one resonates with you the most and why? And then I want you to tell me why all four are important if they are. Let's go.
From electrochemical synapses Everything you are derives from electrochemical synapses running in your brain. Here's something interesting. You go to a funeral parlor and your friend Frederick just died. You don't say, hey, which room is Freddie in? You say, where is the body of Fred? We all say that. That's a tacit admission that the body of Fred is not Fred, that Fred is something else that's no longer there. And that matches perfectly with the concept of a soul. So you recognize there was something there when they were alive that isn't there when they're dead. Well, what is it that was there when they were alive? Well, we have some evidence for this. The neurosynapses of your brain. And how do we know the brain is you? Because you can stroke out bits by bits of your brain, whole sections that just shut down.
When you have a soul tie with someone, no matter what your mouth says, no matter what your fingers do, unfollowing them and unfriending them, it is never over until you break that tie. Now, how do you break that tie? The first thing I suggest is to realize that you have a soul tie with this person. To be honest, because a lot of people out there, women and men, they want to act like, oh man, forget him, I'm done with him, and like, you know, all the tough talk, all the dishonest talk. He was nothing anyway, all that. But are you being honest with yourself? So the first thing, like addiction, is to realize and to admit that you have a soul tie with this person. The next thing is...
And this is the phase of life Jung is mostly concerned with, the realm of the unconscious. The world of the inner life is as infinite as the world of the outer life. Man lives in two worlds. Many people, however, have neglected this part of themselves and only remain half alive. They are unprepared by the natural transition into the second half of life and fall into a midlife crisis because they have not learned to align both worlds. When we are confronted with the real and crushing problems of life, we desperately search for our soul. We realize that the values we have learned from society provides no help to us. Conformity is the great destroyer of selfhood. The opposite to courage in our society is not cowardice, it is conformity. We are often persuaded to take the apparently easier road of merging with the crowd and forgetting ourselves. It requires courage to stand against the crowd. A person can be surrounded by a crowd of people and yet feel completely alone.
See, people are mistaking their love and their relationship. You must separate these two things. Love is what you are. Love is something that you experience within yourself. Relationship is what you do. How you relate to this person, how you relate to this person, how you relate to this person is entirely different because the transactions cannot be same with everybody.
That's phenomenal.
Oh, my bad. I was on mute. Yes. And yeah, beautiful, right? All right. So let's just go ahead and let's just kick it off here. So let's first start off with, out of the four elements, the scientifical, the human emotional, the spiritual, and those who see both sides, which aspect of it resonates with you the most?
Well, definitely I would have to say all aspects, because there's really not a way to separate. Everything really does work on, especially when it comes to love. It works across. It works across all of those different aspects. On the scientific, well, first and foremost, my belief and my understanding is that the overall pulse of this planet is love. I also fully believe that there are only two real emotions that we are afflicted with, if you want to look at it that way, in this physical existence, and that is either love or fear.
Okay.
Love is and everything derives either from love or from fear. Okay, because trace root to any negative emotion, it usually goes, it always goes back to fear. When you trace roots to any positive emotion, it always goes back to an expression of love.
Is it possible this story is true? Yes, it is. You're right. It's fact.
Go ahead.
So, with that being said, it's absolutely true that you are this physical being, this body, that you're here to experience the physicality of life. You're here in the physical part of the expression of your existence. Right. And in that physical part, there are chemicals that make up your body. There's a lot that actually goes into the creation of self.
You mean like serotonin and endorphins, like those kind of chemicals?
Well, you're basically a walking bag of chemicals and with electrical charge, right? What we really are is water that is
Yeah. Okay.
that's been electrified. We're walking atom bombs, um, which is so empowering and so beautiful at the same time as it is perfectly frightening, in the sense that we don't have so much control. Right, you're actually here now, and you're here. You're here to experience your relevance. With that said, my firm belief is that the whole purpose of life is the art of remembering. It's the art of remembering. And it's been in my experience and my remembrance and in my truth that the pulse of love here is everything. And the more that we lean towards love in our duality, the better our lives get. And the more we ascend. And it just comes naturally. So I would definitely have to say that the spiritual aspect, where he said that it's about remembering, we forget who we are. So when we're going through things, we then turn to spirit. It's because of the fact that you can't cling but so much to the physical. You're not going to get so much but out of your physical senses until you actually apply emotion to them. And that emotion, that energy emotion, is what and who you are. That's what you take with you. You've never seen a hearse followed by a U-Haul. It's not a thing. All this stuff, all these things, all these tools that you use in your existence, they're only here for the physical aspect of self. Your spirit body is an emotional body. And of course, the all is mind. Everything exists within your mind. It has to come through your mind. It has to come through your lens. And in that, you get to experience the duality of yourself, both the love and the fear. You get to experience the polarity of yourself, the good and the bad. All of it is you. All of it is you. And every single thing about you is a decision that you make, including the way in which you relate to people based on your understanding of love. I walk with the understanding that I am love. I am the physical embodiment of the emotion of love. That is what I am. So therefore, it's easy for me to give it because I have it to give. And with that, that's why I'm here. I'm here as a full expression of love of my being. I love me so much that I love you through me, regardless of who you are. Regardless of where you're walking and what you're going through, it is really all love here. And I think that a lot of our disappointments in life come from looking for something in someone that they don't have to give to you. So you set these expectations of who someone is supposed to be based on yourself. And when you fully fall in love with who you are, all aspects of you, it doesn't matter who's doing what around you. I'm so in love with me, I'm impenetrable. I'm unapologetic. I love me so much, I wish somebody would. Bring it. Let's go. Let's have the discussion. Let's talk about your pain and your hurt, because it's not mine.
It's I think you'd be surprised at the long line of contendants who would love to speak about that. Because that's one thing that I've noticed. It's a lot of people that's just not settled within their soul.
Oh, for sure.
Not spiritually grounded, and it's not about you expressing human emotion when human emotion should be expressed, which we all go through. But I will say that I do notice a lot of unsettling of one's outer usually is the non firm foundation of one's inner.
Oh, absolutely. You have to go
You see?
to fully understand what's going on without. You have to go within.
Mm-hmm.
Everything starts from you. You are the center point of your being. Without you experiencing existence, what difference does it make?
Absolutely.
With where you are, wherever you are, you're not worried about somebody else living somewhere else. Your whole life and your whole universe is based on your perception or your lens.
Mm-hmm.
And so therefore, like I said, and I have had this discussion, of course, offline, where I've said to you, you can't pour from your cup. Your cup is your cup. Your cup runneth over into the saucer. You pour from the saucer when you have it to give, because you have to take care of you first, because without you, what else is there? What difference does it make? There's a ton out there. There's plenty out there. There's more out there than there is anywhere else. But what difference does it make if you're not there to experience it? Which of course brings in one. It brings in the law of one, which being one, being in your true element, being in your true understanding, walking with your understanding as to how you radiate from within, and you create ripples in your outer world. Is what gives you your sense of presence.
Wow.
And the unfortunate fact, everything around us from the moment that we're born is set up to manipulate our own self-empowerment. Everything. From our education to our spirituality, pertaining to religion, because a lot of religion is fear-based. And as I said, you either have love or you have fear. And if your spirituality is fear-based, you're being manipulated. Period. Because
I like that a lot. Very refreshing.
The absolute truth of your being has been and always will be love. That's whole point is getting back to it.
Where do you think we lost our way? How do you think we lost our way?
Well, that is the original sin. The original sin is forgetting. When you get here, you forget. You come from a place of so much love. So much love. And I can tell you from personal experience, it's when you're in that element of love and reverence, it's very difficult to want to experience this life, because you want to go back to that love and reverence, but you're here to experience life without the remembrance of what that was. It is the art of remembrance, right? Remember, so to dismember is to take something apart.
Yes.
To remember is to bring it back together. The entire point of remembrance is wholeness.
One second on that one. To dismember is to what?
Break everything apart. Is to break everything
and to
apart.
Remember, as in the what?
Bring it back together to become.
Phenomenal. Keep going, beloved.
The word holy, Holy, is actually WHOLLY, which is to be holy, one whole being, to be whole within yourself, not to be sainted or to be better than someone else. That's not what this is. That's not what any of this is. That is all of the illusion, right? That's building on the illusion of that there's some element of normality that we're supposed to be in. Right? And normality is an illusion, because what's normal to the spider is chaos to the fly. So normality is an illusion. They give you this basis of understanding of your life and then tell you that if you're not normal, then there's something wrong with you. It couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, the fact remains your uniqueness, your ability to be who it is that you are in your art of remembering is the point of your existence. You could have been made to be anything, and you were made to be you. How beautiful is that?
Yeah, no, that's why I even said the other day, me going through what I've went through, what I've spoken about with you. And how I was saying, still to this very moment, I honestly would not want to be in any other vessel than mine. I love me that much, even after being disfigured.
You're not disfigured.
I still don't want to be no one else but me.
And you weren't disfigured. You were recreated. You were reborn.
Go ahead, keep going.
One of the greatest misconceptions of being in this life is that everybody thinks you only go through labor one time, that you're only born once. That's not true. The resistance in your life is the laboring moment, and the breakthrough is your reborn. It was when you become reborn. You went through something that was so incredibly challenging to you that it allowed you to come through as a whole different being. And you even have the trophy to show for it. You don't just get to tell people about it where they can see it in your smile, but they see you pressing through. They see your challenge, and they have the ability to gain empowerment from the power within you because of what you've been through. Nothing better could have come to you in this life. Nothing. You're on mute, my love. I can't hear you.
My bad. I apologize. I ain't had nobody break it down to me like that. And I myself have been keeping my, of course, you got to keep going. You got to keep yourself up. But like,
You don't have to.
the way you just broke
power.
that down. Yeah, the way you just broke that down was, this is definitely one for the making. I appreciate you. Oh my goodness. Hey, on that note right there, everybody, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And this commercial break is brought to you by Love and Tranquility.
For these messages, we'll be right back.
That was brought to you by Tranquil Moments. That's right. That was brought to you by Tranquil Moments. We want to stay in the mode. We want to stay in position over here. That's right. I love it.
That was phenomenal, by the way, just to hear someone know and understand their own vibration, their own frequency, and use it to be expressed through tone. I mean, what a beautiful break. Thank you.
Yeah. Nah, you know how we rule. You know how we move. I would say it's all about the vibrational, like the frequency and vibration is what makes that, that whole kinetic connection. It's definitely something. That's something. Let's get it. All right. So I want to ask you this question, right? All right. So let's go ahead and go to this right here. We were talking, right? And when we were talking, you broke something down to me. So I remember I was explaining how, my pops, he was telling me how the ego, EGO, is when you edge God out of your life. And you gave me a very, very different and very unique, interesting breakdown on that. Can you tell me this? And I thank you all for tuning in and watching. The time right now is 7:38 p.m. East Coast Standard Time, 7:39 p.m. East Coast Standard Time. Thank you for watching. Respect. So can you please tell me this? Ego, is it bad? And if not, why? You got the floor.
Ego is only bad if you consider yourself to be. Your ego is you. It's who you get to be in this existence. And of course, in my philosophy and my understanding, you get to choose again, to an eternal being. You are an eternal being. You are forever, right? That's scientific. That's not just spiritual. That is scientific, right? When energy is created, it cannot be destroyed. It can only transform. You are created energy. It's hard to fathom, but you've always been here. You will forever be. So what is 100 years? If you get to live 100 years, what is 100 years to eternity, right? With that said, during your existence, while you're here, you get this beautiful vessel, this tool to navigate through this physical experience. That vessel, that being, that personality, that is your ego. That is who you get to experience your spirituality through this physical experience with. And that's really what this all is. And so it's not a bad thing at all, but it needs to be checked, because if you don't check your ego, and if you don't, then you won't ascend. If you don't get to the point where you understand that you are not just the ego, but you are also the observer, you are the person that gets to sit back and watch your ego move, watch your ego go through things in life. That is spiritual ascension. When you understand that you truly are something greater than this physical being, then you get to truly be in the thralls of this experience. And negating your ego is something that's taught. Again, it's manipulation, right? Because it has you fearing being fully immersed in yourself. There's nothing wrong with being the ego. But when you step outside of the ego, you realize that the pulse of everything is love, and greed goes away.
Okay.
Sorry about
Goodness gracious. Okay. I'm just, I'm floored right now. Phenomenal. I love it. That's what I'm talking about. You know that third eye. You know that third eye.
Oh, yeah.
So with that being said, moving on, transferring into spiritual reserve, the whole casting pearls to swine and things. What's your take on that? Like, why is that so important to have spiritual reserve? Because the last time I checked, from the Messiah, the son of Mary, went around and preached to everybody. And so from what I know, you're supposed to give people what it is that you have to offer, even if they don't want it. But what is your take on spiritual reserve, and is it important? And if so, why? Rock out, Krissy.
Spiritual reserve, in essence, is self-love. It's having boundaries. It's putting yourself in position to where you are going where you resonate with the energy that you can align with. It's not going into a crowd of people who only want to talk about what's happening in the news and what's happening in the world and all of this external noise, because those are all distractions. And going in and trying to tell them, hey, stop doing all of that and look over here, they're going to turn on you. They're going to turn on you. They're going to tell you that you're crazy and that you're doing the most and this, whatever. They're not ready for it. You're too deep. You're going over my head, whatever the case may be. And that's fine. That's fine. I'm not here to drag anyone through this spiritual walk. I'm here to shine a light. And now I get to shine a light on a platform, right? Which just raises me so that the light can be seen more. But it's a beacon. It's a beacon. It's a lighthouse. It is not something that I am going to force down anyone's understanding. That's not my place here. That's not what I'm here to do. So I have a significant amount of spiritual reserve in the sense that I am sacred. My time here is sacred. My time that I spend with people, it could be my last few moments, and I'm sitting here giving my time to you. That is sacred. That is beautiful. Why then would I give that to someone who's not even going to respect it? Even if, and I will say that sometimes I will take seeds and throw them and see where they land, and hope and pray that somebody grabs a hold of the seed and cultivates it and puts some water on it, allows it to get some light and grows within it. But is it my place to sit and dig up their spiritual understanding and plant that seed and tap it down and shine? No, because that's exhausting. It's exhausting. And the one person that I have to take care of above anything and everything else, as I've said before, without me, there's nothing here for me. There's no point to this existence if I'm not here to experience it. So I have to love myself enough to have the reserve to not take my energy and throw it against something where it does not resonate, where it's not in alignment. That's just a waste. It's a waste. And I don't have time to waste. My time is precious. Again, it's sacred. So spiritual reserve is incredibly important. It's incredibly important. Again, it's an expression of self-love.
I love the way that you mentioned how it's just a beacon, it's a light, and you already know we are those of the lamps. So I appreciate you on that because you know how it is when that is the motion. Now, what I want to go ahead and move forward to is this, but before I do, I want to respond to what you said. When you were talking about your last moments, you know, me and my situation, I've made it very clear multiple times. I actually have a whole different outlook on life. I really, you know, because of my health and so, you know, physically fit, agile, the whole nine, right? Athletic. I mean, energy, just high voltage beyond. I mean, you know, I could be the generator for the house if the storm goes out, you know. It's that much pulsating through me, and you're absolutely right. You can't kill energy; you can only transfer it. That's why, for example, you know what's crazy? Ever since I lost my leg, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's something they call phantom pain, and you know what's wild? Even though it's gone, I can still feel my toes wiggle, and I do believe. I know, right? Listen, this might sound crazy.
It
I
does.
know
You're talking to me, right? Nothing
I
sounds.
know, I know, but just you know, this world's wild. I actually do believe that is like that's affirmation that even though physically that's gone, those toes you feel wiggling, that's the spiritual that cannot be touched.
100%. You were born with those toes. Those are your toes.
You know what I'm
Your understanding within your physical being is that those toes exist. Whether they're on your leg or not, whether you see them or not, they're still in existence within your own mind. And what that tells you is that, as I said in the beginning, the all is mind. The
Yeah,
all
it's
is mind.
crazy. Yeah, it's so crazy. So, you know, to land it on this part is that you know, I definitely get you because when I was in that position, the only thing that I was thinking about was I need to make sure that, you know, I move accordingly and make certain things right. That's why I'm always willing to have discussions. That's why I'm always willing to forgive as well as hope that I can be forgiven as well. It goes both ways. It goes both ways. And I'm never one that's shy of that because you know, like you said, it could be your last. Like you don't know. Like I don't like if I left here tomorrow, I wouldn't want to leave here tomorrow with all the turmoil and everything or whatever messy or anything going on. I want stuff resolved before I leave here as best as I can. I really want to just like how they say, rest in peace. It's kind of hard to do that when you know you left here in a lot of turmoil, I will assume. But that's just me. You got anything to say to that?
The whole point of this existence is to know and understand your personal power and that you have choices. Every single day you make a decision. Every day. Every day. Everything that you do in this life is a decision that you've made, including peace, including forgiveness. You said, I hope. I don't use the word hope. The only time I use the word hope is when I'm talking about, like, I hope you have a great weekend, because I can hope that. I don't know that it will or won't happen for you, but I hope it for you. Hope is the cousin. Hope is the cousin of doubt. Hope is the cousin of doubt. So when I go through and I have asked for forgiveness for things that I have for my trespasses, I don't hope anything on that. When I ask for forgiveness, I'm coming with a pureness of heart and with true love. Love for myself and love enough for that person to ask them to understand my humanity. Understand that I'm here to be messy. This isn't about perfection, it's about progression. So I don't hope on anything. I am peace. I am joy. I am happiness. I am love. These are my decisions. I make them every day, regardless of what's going on in my external world. Regardless, because within my mind, I am these things. So that if I were to leave here today or tomorrow, I have settled everything with everyone that I needed to, because I forgive people instantaneously. I see you. Does that mean that I need to be around your energy? Does that mean that I need to be, we need to be hanging out together, or I need to give myself over to that understanding of you? Absolutely not. Fly high, just way over there. Way over there. Do your thing. I want nothing but great things for you. And I do forgive you. I forgive you for your trespasses. You did what you thought you had to do in the moment, and I respect that. But go on get, because I'm over here with my energy, and I love myself enough to not want to have to breathe for two. So the forgiveness of self, I've got to tell you that when I was going through my dark night of the soul, forgiving myself and understanding my own personal value were the two hardest things I've had to come through. The forgiveness of self is more important than you asking forgiveness for someone else, because they don't have to if they don't want to, and that doesn't matter at the end of the day. If you've done your best, you've given your best, you've tried your best, you've loved your best, then you've ascended. You've ascended beyond the need to grovel at someone for your trespasses, because you're not that person today. Whoever you were yesterday, you're not that person today. You can't go back. All there is now. All there will ever be is now. That's all there has been.
But beloved, the thing is that a lot of us know that in ourselves, but society doesn't see it that way, and it's very difficult for a lot of people. Maybe not folks like me and you, because we could get to but for a lot of people in society, that's very difficult for them to move past when they don't want to be shunned out, because a lot of people, like I said before, solitude for the wise one is considered opportunity. That same solitude for the fool is considered to be torture. A lot of people don't know how to manifest what it is that we're speaking about right now. So I get you on that point. So I would say for the average person that may not know how to separate themselves from society, what would you say it is that they should look for with, I guess maybe within themselves? Or let me put it like this. You as a woman, right? To this next question, you as a woman, to make it simple, finding purpose, you as a woman, what are the challenges and what is it that you personally seek?
Well, first off, the very first thing I'll say is that I definitely don't look for the acceptance of society. Society is maddening, and it's a significant amount of noise. Society will tell you the expectation of self. Society has no rule over me. So it's difficult for me to speak to or speak on what the norm is, or I'm only here for the ones that are willing to listen, that come with an open heart and an open mind, not the ones who are stuck in their own understanding, because they already have the answers. They know it all, and that's okay too. Now, as far as my challenges of being a woman, the greatest challenge, I would say.
Wait, beloved. Not specific. No, not your challenges of being a woman. Specifically, like I wonder. I do believe a man chasing his purpose and a woman chasing her purpose are two different views and how it's seen and how it's gone about. You as a woman seeking purpose within yourself, how do you go about it? That's what I'm asking specifically. Purpose.
Yeah, well, I don't think that has anything to do with gender. I think that each and every one of our purpose is the remembrance. It's putting yourself back together. It's understanding who it is that you are wholly, so that you can, again, ascend from this physical being and the understanding of self. The greatest challenge in this existence, period, point blank, dot dash, is loving and knowing you. Genuinely loving and knowing you, knowing that every single opposition that you face is a reflection of you. It's not about the waves of opposition. They're going to come. That's the whole point of this existence, is to grow from them. When I fell in love with my pain, I grew in ways that I can't even really say. I just, all I can do is express them at this point, because I started to realize that It is in the resistance that my strength comes. It is in the resistance that my understanding changes. It is in the resistance that my purview becomes enlightened. And so I don't know that that necessarily has to do with being a woman. I will say, though, that a challenge in this society or in this existence of being a woman is the ability to be my divine feminine self, the softness within me, the submission in me to a divine masculine being. That has all been taken from us. I mean, to the point where gender now is fluid. What I knew came from that.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm just 1 second. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Rock out, beloved. Rock out, beloved. You got it.
So, my greatest challenge has been, and I think that the same is true for the majority of us, if not all of us, if we, especially if we're on any sort of path of ascension, if we're trying to grow spiritually, if we're trying to grow within our being, it truly is coming to terms with self and coming to terms with the fact that everything that has happened supposedly to you has actually happened for you and through you. That was hard because I'm like, I didn't ask for all of this, but I did. I did because I needed it. I needed it to get to here. And here, where it is that I am now, I can help. I can help. I get the opportunity to help people now. I get to shed the light on the dark part of their existence. I get to illuminate the shadows within. And that is a beautiful place to be. Absolutely.
Man, you know what? You already know. One more again for the win, ladies and gentlemen. You already know. I need to go ahead and hit the disclaimer. You just might learn something today. You just might. Who knows? Whoever you may be, wherever you are, you just might learn something. Now remember where we are today. Today we are at the place of That's right. This is episode 1 of Because You're Listening. You're listening and you're tuned in. You're focused and honed in. And so now the purpose is to make sure that there is elevation and growth during this time of observation. All right. So let's go ahead and get to this next question. So this is something I really want to know about. You know what they talk about so much with the elderly and everything? They talk about people passing away, people passing away lonely. They say one of the number one thing that plagues elderly people is loneliness. Especially like that couple that was married for like 40, 50 years, wife passed away, husband passed away, so on and so forth. So I want to ask you this question. Now, before we even get to the elderly stage, right, because we're still forever young, I'm curious. 2-part question. 1, have you ever had a period of loneliness in your life? And if you have, how was that a benefit to you? If any. You got the floor.
Absolutely. One of the most difficult things to get through when you're in ascension is to find your kindred, right? Your tribesmen. So there's moments where it really does feel lonely because I go over a lot of people's heads. But in my understanding and in my growth, I have learned that alone, ALONE, is all one. At this point, I know I'm never alone. I know I can never be lonely because I'm never alone. I am all one. I see myself not only as this beautiful ego and this vessel that I get to walk around with, but I am also this ascended being. This being of eternity. And the vibration, the connection within myself is such that I love me so much that I'm never lonely again. I haven't been lonely in a very, very long time. There are moments when I crave, right? I crave conversation. I crave having the validation, especially as I'm going through things and finding people that are in that same pathway so that we can discuss what's going on and learn from one another. I crave that. And whenever I truly do crave it, what I am seeking is also seeking me. I come across people like you. I come across my kindred. They're out here.
Oh, let me find out that all the lamps are gathering together like in this backdrop.
I know. I love your little waterfalls and stuff, all this emotion. It's pretty.
Come on now. Which
Pretty.
is what the energy that moves us, but a lot of times it's also tapping into the higher frequency. Remember we talked about that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's understanding first and foremost that you are a frequency, that you
Yeah,
are a vibration.
that's right. That's right.
When you truly, the reason why I chose because you're listening is I mean it's a few different views to look at it, which I think is
You know
beautiful.
what? That's awesome. Yes. Tell the people why you chose to title your show here now on the Smitty's Corner Network. Why did you choose to name your show in particular? Because you're listening.
Because you're constantly in conversation with yourself. That is what builds and creates your frequency. Be mindful of your self-talk. Be
Okay.
mindful of the way in which you talk and relate to yourself because you're listening. Because you're listening. You're moving by the way in which you talk to yourself.
Wow. Wow. It literally, and you know what? We know that in the let's say if we took it in layman's term, the body does what the mind tells it. Goodness
Amen.
gracious. Absolutely.
Every day,
Amazing.
all day. I mean, if you're given a diagnosis of an illness and
Uh-huh.
you say I now have this illness, well, guess what? You just told your body, I want this. This is what I want. This is what is in my energy field, and this is what I want. But if you say I have a diagnosis, or
Uh-huh.
this is within my energy field, then it is not part of yourself, and you can manipulate it from there. You can play with it from there. When you allow it into your being, it now becomes one with you. It's a lot harder to play with from that perspective. But if you say I am angry, that's very different than saying there's anger in my aura, there's anger in my energy field, there's anger happening around me. Like then you basically separate the ego, yourself, from that particular emotion, and you get to be the observer and see the anger, see where it's stemming from, see the root of it, and you can manipulate it from there. You can manifest beautiful things surrounding that anger once you truly see it, because you can grow from it. But if you take it into yourself, it now becomes part of who you are. It now clouds your lens, right? Now you've put it into your perspective. Now it's in your purview. Now it's in your understanding, and it clouds your lens. It clouds your lens of judgment. That's how, I am angry. Okay, well, now you've put yourself in position to express that anger, because that's what we do, one way or another. And it has ramifications. There's consequences because you're in this physical existence. But as long as you keep it out of your physicality, leave it as a metaphysical understanding of yourself, you can play with it. You can play with it.
Oh my goodness.
This is one big playground at this point. It really is. I love it here. I love it here. I absolutely love my existence because even when things happen to me and I sit and they're happening, these things are going on, and I sit and I go, this really isn't happening to me, it's happening through me. So let me observe the way in which I'm viewing this situation. Let me be mindful of the way Christina, this ego, has taken this in. How do I ascend from here? How do I make it better? Where is the progression? Again, it's not about perfection. Perfection is an illusion. Your idea of perfect, my idea of perfect, two different things. Okay? But progression can be seen no matter where you're from, no matter where you're at, no matter what view you're taking. If you're seeing something move forward, it's gonna move. It's gonna move. It's gotta go.
Is it possible this story is true? Yes, it is. You're right. It's fact.
Wow. Okay. Definitely listen, just like I told you guys, if I am going to bring people to the village, it will only be the greatest of minds that I can possibly come across. And this right here is I believe, perfect example. But you know what I want us to do, Christina, if it's okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break before we go ahead and get into the next segment of the show. So now we're going to go into spiritual awakening. Are you ready? And this will be the last segment because this is what I really want you to speak about.
I'm ready.
All right, let's get it. And with that being said, I digress. My mic is muted. The time right now is 8:06 p.m. East Coast Standard Time, and we will be right back after these quick commercial messages.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
I remember the day I found myself swimming in the cool waters of the East River.
With your feet in the air and your head on the ground.
The world above seemed to fade away.
I've been trying to breathe underwater. I've been trying to hide 'cause I'm scared. Confusing which is one from the other. 'Cause it doesn't mean so much in the end. I've been trying to breathe underwater. I've been trying to hide 'cause I'm scared.
Let's get back to it. And with that being said, thank you all for tuning in to the first episode of Because You're Listening with our also lovely host, Miss Christina. All right, so let's go ahead and get to this next segment. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this video that I have. So let me ask you this. What is your beginning intro in how you view a spiritual awakening? How do you see that? How does one know that they've stepped into the realm of they just reached another level? Let's put it like that. While I go ahead and look this up.
You start asking questions. The quality of your life is directly proportional to the quality of the questions that you ask. So when you start asking questions, the reason why we are where we are in technology is because somebody asked a question.
Oh my gosh. Ain't that something? Okay.
So
Now, well, let me put it in a more blunt way. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and turn over to our A to the I friend. So on ChatGPT, what it says here is this. What is spiritual ascension and how does it differ from traditional concepts of growth or self-improvement? Let's start there.
What's traditional is generally religion based, which is the expression of someone else's journey. So when you're going through and you grab hold of a religion, you're ascribing or assigning yourself to someone else's journey, and you're walking in their footsteps. When you look to a spiritual ascension within yourself, you're on your own journey, and you separate yourself from the pack, and you start to move towards, like I said, asking questions, seeking answers. Then I promise you, once you start asking questions, they lead to more questions, which lead to more questions. And before you know it, every question that you ask is a step up from there, a step up from there. And before you know it, you're at the apex. You don't even know how you got to the top of the mountain, but you're there. You're there. And then if you're anything like me, that's just the base of the next mountain to climb.
Well, see, I definitely get you on that as far as like a lot of things are. I mean, listen, let's just say if we were to say the religious aspect of it is primarily is AKA what's been pressed into you before you even had a chance to know who you are, to know which direction you wanted to go in life. You know, I think a lot of people before they even had a chance to discover who they are spiritually, I mean, even me, myself, I remember getting dressed for Sunday school and stuff, at the age of like 5 and 6 and all of that, I remember, but then I
leader of my church.
Right. So, but then I found myself on a different path in life once I discovered me. And the main reason why I've been loved still regardless and accepted with that and the whole nine is because I was brought up in the format of just grow naturally. What we are to do is to give you your, as you can see, garden. This is your garden. Do with it as you see fit. Figure out what you want to do with this garden that we planted for you. And through that, I have been able to, get a much better discovery of who I am. And that is why my number one message always is purpose-driven man, period. Like all of that is in 100% full-fledged effect. Now, am I at where I want to be? I will never be able to answer that question because to say that is to now say that there's no further growth or anything I can improve on. So I would say I don't think I'll ever reach my pinnacle peak in my physical form. I don't know what the other side holds, but I know that here, I think I need to reserve my tongue and just take it as, we say, Krissy, one step at a time, right?
Absolutely.
What you got for that?
I have a very controversial take on religion, and it's my spiritual foundation was in religion as well, but it taught me a lot of things that I have come to find not true within the art of my remembrance. Right, I was taught that God is basically a white man on a throne sitting somewhere in some place that's outside of me. I was also taught that I will never be good enough.
Right.
And that I need to keep striving because I'm not good enough. And when I became to understand when I truly began to take in the fact that my value is innate.
Yeah.
I am absolutely worthy just because I am, and then nothing else needs to be. With that said, I began to realize that even the fact that a deity was given a gender shifts my understanding in a negative way, right? Because it tells me that this deity, this energy that I worship is greater than myself. I now, and of course it's a man, and now I have the understanding that I am that energy. That if it were not for that energy believing in me right now, I wouldn't exist. I wouldn't be here. So everything is me because everything passes through my lens.
I like that.
Everything is me.
I love it. I love it. Okay, now this is the true epitome of what I guess we would describe as self-love. Okay, now everybody take notes. Take notes now. All right, so let's go on ahead to this next one right here, right? So, what signs or experiences might indicate that someone is beginning their spiritual awakening ascension journey? Like, what would you say?
Discomfort.
Wow.
People are entirely too comfortable being comfortable. The fact remains,
Talk about it.
they have this misconception that birth only happens to you one time.
Wow.
Right. And there's tons of religious scriptures that speak to rebirth, but it goes over people's heads. Rebirth means laboring, right? Which is the challenge, which is the resistance, which is the struggle, so that you can have breakthrough, which is, hey, that head came out, you crowning, you starting all over again. You get to be this whole new existence.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to put to bed the person that you were before. When you get to experience life from a totally different perspective. In other words, you've cleansed your lens. But that requires laboring. It requires the work. And a lot of people give up when the work gets hard. It gets hard. Women can't give up. That baby, if it's in there, it's got to come out. Okay? It's coming out. Like my mama said, what goes in comes out. Okay.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out. All right, so what exactly is coming out of that person? Is it a demon or is it just bad old habits?
You are both heaven and hell.
Oh, talk about it now.
It's duality.
Talk about it.
It's in the Hermetic principles, you have the opportunity to know and understand and to learn what it is that really makes us up. There are universal laws, right, that we have absolutely no control over. They exist as laws. They're written law. They're the understanding. For instance, the law of gravity. You don't have to understand it for you to be part of it. Where you going? You stuck right here, right now, aren't you? Where you going? That's the law of gravity that has you stuck here, right now. So with that understanding, there is the law of duality, where it speaks to the fact that you are both heaven and hell. You are both God and Satan. That is you. That is you. Again, everything is passing through your lens of perception. You have a distinct decision to make. I call several things demons. I call control a demon. Control is a demon. It is. There are so many people that want to control so much going on around them that because they can't, now they have anxiety. Well, that's a byproduct of a demonic energy, right? That is possession. You have possession that comes with control. You want to possess what it is that's going on. What is possession? Possession is control. Possession is control.
Well, no, wait. What if possession is also to have acquired? Like if I possess the knowledge or wisdom, right? I just acquired it, right? Or is it?
Oh, is it? Was it impressed upon you? Do you really have the possession of it? Because if you do, you're holding on too tightly. Because wherever it is that you stand within your understanding, understand that you don't know nothing yet. You ain't figured out nothing yet. I don't know it. The one thing I know about life is that I don't know anything. Because it's the more I dig, the deeper it gets. So if you're holding something in possession, if you've possessed a new understanding, if you've possessed a way of thinking within yourself, that means you've got this tight fist. And nothing can go into a tight fist nor come out of it. You shouldn't possess anything. The whole point...
Is it possible this story is true?
The whole point of life is flow. Everything is flow. You are a frequency. Everything around you is a frequency, including money, right? That's why it's called currency. If you look at a city from above, it looks like a motherboard with all these little things moving around on it. Everything is a flow of energy. Possession, control. You don't need those things. You don't need control. The one thing I know that I can't do is control much of anything. I can will it. I can want it. I can desire it. But I can't control it. You learn that with your children, right? You teach them one thing over and over and over again. They do the complete opposite of what you just taught that baby.
Is it possible this story is true?
You don't possess anything in this life. Again, you've never seen a hearse followed by a U-Haul. Nothing. All of this is temporary, including this physical understanding. Because once you leave here, you go back into the knowing. You go back into the knowing.
You giving them way too much too early, beloved. Geez, I thought we was gonna kind of, wean them into it, but apparently you just want to say F the bottle and nipple. I'm just gonna spoon feed you now. Okay, here's your plate. Okay, I got you.
Lord, don't let me get the water hose. Let's not play. Okay.
I
I can go get a fire hose too if you want to really know. I'm still spoon feeding. Trust and understand. If I was to even begin, I would lose so many people. That's not the point. The point is whatever sticks, let it stick because it's meant to stick to you. It's meant for you to receive. If it doesn't stick, then so be it. Then keep pushing. And if you have questions, then I've done something right.
I love it. I absolutely adore it. Okay, now. So let's go ahead and move on to this part right here, right? Because this is your night. This is your show. Let's get it. Everybody, I thank you all for tuning in to the very first episode of Because You're Listening with your wonderful, lovely host, Miss Christina. Let's get it. So I am curious. I'm curious, beloved. How do the challenges we face serve as a catalyst for higher conscience? Just curious. For example, I don't know, struggle, grief, spiritual, you know what I'm saying? I guess what aligns with, your own beautiful philosophy. What would that be?
It's and we've talked about this. I take a lesson from a tree.
Right.
Take a lesson from a tree. We're surrounded by them, and no one ever takes really the time to truly understand what's happening. You see what you see, which is the light, which is the upper part of the tree, the trunk and the branches. You see the leaves and the fruit or the flower that it bears, but you don't understand what's happening under the ground. What's happening under the ground as it's growing in strength, as it's growing up, it's growing both ways. It's growing down. And as it's growing down, that's where the resistance is. That's the hard part. It's not easy for a tree to push through the earth. That's not an easy thing for a tree to push its roots through the earth. And yet the deeper, the harder it pushes, the more it fights against the resistance, the more growth it experiences. The higher, the taller it gets, the more it gets to ascend and reach up to the light. The same for each one of us.
Briefly, let me see if this is somewhere around what you're talking about. I don't know. Is this what you're talking about? Hold on.
Falling into place.
The hidden secret trees can teach us about growth. A tree never grows in just one direction. It grows down before it grows up. Before its branches reach for the sky, its roots push through the darkness, finding stability beneath the surface. The stronger the roots, the taller the tree. The deeper the foundation, the greater the expansion. Life works the same way.
It does. Speak on it.
Everyone admires the visible success, the achievements, the recognition, the fruit. But few pay attention to the unseen effort, the struggle beneath the surface, the late nights, the failures, the quiet resilience. That's where real growth happens. So if you're in a season where everything feels heavy, where you're pushing against resistance, remember, you're not stuck. You're growing your roots. The deeper you grow, the higher you'll rise.
That was absolutely breathtakingly beautiful. Exactly that. Yes. Said it all in one reel. That was perfect. Perfectly stated. That is my understanding. Absolutely. That is my understanding. That The fact that I get to be this beautiful expression of growth. The fruit that I bear isn't for me. That's why I'm here. Right? A tree will not eat its own fruit. A river won't drink its own water. Right? There's nothing here. A flower is not going to breathe its own scent. Right? It's there's nothing here specific. Everything it is that I do is because of the fruit that I bear. I want to serve whomever's looking for it.
I like banana pudding.
You know what? This man and his banana pudding. Now
so let's go ahead and get to the next question. Here we go. Let's go ahead and keep this ball rolling. So the next one is so what role does the body play in ascension? Is it just the vessel or something more sacred? Like, you can weave in and out like your interest in your mind and body, right? But like the true medicine is the energetic kinetic connection. But what you got for that?
Your entire being, you are a walking atom bomb. There are literal videos that you can look up at conception and watch the light. They've shown the light that happens, that expansive burst of energy that happens when the sperm meets the egg, and you get to be that existence while you're here. You get to be the existence. You won the fight, right, against all the other sperm. It was you that chose this existence. You get to be here in this beautiful vessel that allows you to take in, that is so pretty, that allows you to take in everything that is happening around you. You have these beautiful 5 senses that you get to use to take in this experience, this dream of a life. You get to use this vessel. It is a tool for you, the same as everything else around you,
Including money.
Money is a tool.
Yeah, including a hammer, a wrench, or a jack for a car.
A pencil, this computer, this
Absolutely.
right.
Man, back on point. Yeah, there you go. Rock out, beloved. I'm sorry. Nah, you on one.
No, I mean it's this entire experience is sacred if you understand it to be. Again, it's all happening through you and your consciousness. Everything here has a consciousness. A rock has a consciousness. You can hit the rock, you can hear the sound of the rock. It has a consciousness. So your physical being in and of itself has a consciousness, which is what the ego is. It's your personal vessel's consciousness. You have consciousness, you have subconsciousness, and then you have super consciousness. The path to ascension is towards super consciousness, which is the alignment of the conscious with the subconscious, understanding your overall super consciousness and how it connects to all things. And it's a beautiful pathway. It's a beautiful walk, especially when you understand just how sacred the entire dance is, the magic here.
You know what's crazy? I do believe that love is a dance.
Oh, for sure.
Like in the sense of the courting process is like the taking of the hand, right? Like getting to know one another and getting in sync with one another is like when I pull you close and then boom, and then we just kind of moving in. It's a certain art. It's an art to it, and it's not something you go by in a generic form. It's always to be custom made and tailored to whomever it is you're dealing with in particular, is my point.
Well, that's because energy is everything, and there's an alignment of energy. And so your energy conforms. That's where soul ties come in, right? Which is what you expressed earlier in the video. The soul ties come in when you're connected to someone, because literally energy is everything. And when you become one with someone through the art of making love, you then create a tie. There's a tether. There's a there. There's a quantum entanglement that takes place in that moment.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And that is the dance. Right. And the point is to find the alignment of energy that resonates. The issue with most relationships is that if you're not growing together, then you're gonna grow apart. That's just the
Wow.
way it is.
And I guess that will be the difference between the rose bush and the weed. Wow. Very interesting. Very interesting. Let's go ahead and get to this next one right here. What we got on this next question? You are definitely something else today. Let's go ahead and do this. So, number 6, how can we trust our own inner guidance, a world that consistently pulls us outward, right? Staying in touch, intuition, sovereignty, and reclaiming your own power. What's your take on that part, beloved? Respect to you.
I would have to say that coming to terms with who you really are, learning yourself, that man know thyself, then you will know the universe and you will know God. The fact of the matter is that the more that you pour into you, the more that you have. So taking the time to genuinely understand your intuition, giving into your intuition, stop denying it. If something doesn't feel right, don't do it. Listen to yourself. Love yourself enough to trust yourself. Come to terms with the fact that you are a sovereign, beautiful, spiritual being having a human experience. You're not a human with a soul. You're a soul with a human. This is a meat sack full of water.
Oh man. And it's crazy you talk about that. I speak about it in the sense of like our experiences. So the analogy that I've given before is, imagine a car being your vessel and the spirit is you behind the driver's seat, right? And I want you to look at it in the sense of you have two main mirrors as you're looking forward, driving in this, what we call highway of life. The two views is you got your front windshield and then you have your rear view mirror. Now let's think about when you look in your rear view. Sometimes you got to angle it, adjust it, everything, because you can't see that good. And I look at that like you being the spirit, and that vessel called the car is looking into your past. Every time you look in the rear view, you're looking into your past. But let's now think about how wide and open the windshield is as you're driving. It's not the same view as the rear view. And I do believe that is very symbolic and it holds significant meaning. But what's your take on that, beloved?
It's interesting because I use the vehicle analogy specifically when I'm talking to people about fear and anxiety, because a lot of times they think they're the ones that are driving, but it's not. They let their fears and their emotions drive. You're sitting in the passenger seat trying to figure out where the hell you're going, but you've put yourself in position to where you're not in control. With that said, though, you're absolutely right. As you're traveling in your vehicle, if you have taken the seat, because it's not that fear doesn't exist for me, it's just in the back seat, and I don't do backseat driving. You sit back there and shut up until I'm ready to deal with you. Okay.
I don't even like French fries and shoes and paperwork on my backseat. But anyway, that's just me. I like a clean car. I just like a clean car. I'm sorry.
I can totally and completely respect that. You should have a clean vessel. You should be walking with a clean vessel, as pure as you possibly can get it, so that you can see everything that's going on around you. Your windshield can't be dirty while you driving down the road. Where you going?
Hey, and don't let you be out here where we live at.
Look,
I'm talking about, them trees. Like, it's too many trees.
Yeah, absolutely. There's obstacles everywhere. And a lot of times, as you're in your vessel and you're heading in your direction, you think that you're going the right way. All of a sudden, the GPS will take you off your road, man. It'll take you a whole different route because it's avoiding something. You can't see what it's avoiding, but it's taking you off. And if you keep looking in your rear view mirror, into your past, you're not going to see where you're going. It's okay to take glimpses to see if it's following you and how close it's up on you.
Switching lanes, you about to switch a lane, you about to go into a whole nother part of your life. It's okay to take a quick little glance back to make sure.
Right, because you want to recognize the same patterns. Yeah.
That's right, beloved.
You don't want to repeat the same. You don't want to repeat the same mistakes. So you look back and go, "Oh, that feels familiar. I've been down that road, and I'm not going over there." And that's okay. It's okay to look back every now and again, but you can't drive forward while looking back. That doesn't work.
The thing is that a lot of people nowadays look at any glance in the rear view mirror means that you're not over the past. That means you're still hurt about something. Mm-hmm. And I think we get it. Yeah, I think we get it really twisted and mixed up on the difference between what you're still hurt about and what you've learned from. It is the example of, I'm not going to touch this oven no more, like without oven mitts. I'm not going to try to pull the cookie sheet pan out of the oven without oven mitts on now.
Right, which is, bless you, I think, part of the lesson that that you're here to learn, definitely. But my advice is that if you're feeling the need to constantly drive looking in the rearview mirror, pull over.
Oh my gosh. Before you rear end somebody else.
Man, pull over and lean into that, because there's something there for you. It could be pain, it could be ascension, it could be evolution, it could be a lot of things. But in order for you to truly get beyond it so that it's not affecting your current moment, lean in. A lot of people want to run from their pain. They want to run from their past. They want to run from their experiences. You can't. You can't run from you. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. Like I said, the best part of my existence was when I fell in love with my pain. Now, when I look back in the rearview mirror, as well as while I'm looking ahead, I smile. I'm in so much joy. Zippity doo dah all the way down the road. Let's go. We're going wherever we're going.
Hey, listen, they really don't understand what you just said. They don't get it. You know how many times I've said that so many times up here in these spaces. When you have a certain amount of joy and peace in your life, you know how to go directly right back to it. It's not a problem to get back to that. No. But it's if you choose to go back to that, or if you choose to dwell and waddle, and that goes for circumstances in life with us. We could have instances that happen to us, like me, right? So let me speak on myself. I can dwell on the fact that I wanted to be a husband with the first woman I ever was intimate with, my child and stuff but I now look at it in the sense of I recognize the experience, and I'm thankful for everything that has ever happened in every form. You can't sit back and think to yourself, everything that you've been through was always just a bad circumstance. No, it's not that. No. Sometimes you're going through that so that you can now give the information, wisdom, and knowledge about,
literally,
you got it.
Time. It's all the time. Everything that you're going through is happening for and through you. It is through your lens. If you view everything from a negative perspective, you're going to have a negative perspective. But if you take the opportunity to go, well, what's really happening here? Let me observe this from a different perspective. Let me see what this really is trying to teach me. What am I supposed to gain from this experience? I'm going to juke this experience because it hurts. This pain, this hurts. So I'm going to lean in now because I need to juice this experience that I'm going through right now so that I can get every drop of whatever I'm supposed to get from this. Leave nothing behind so that when it does crop back up, it doesn't trigger me. When it does, reveal itself from in a different form, I will recognize it and I will see it It's a matter of growth, right? It's the resistance and becoming the stronger tree. It's knowing and understanding that the things that you go through are experiences that are happening for you. There is nothing but love here. Anything else other than love is a distraction, I promise. I promise it's here to take you away from the remembrance, because everything is love. And when you take even the perceived negative experience as an expression of love, you'll view it differently. When people pass, right? People pass away. We have all dealt with grief. Grief is an expression of love. Grief is the opportunity that you know that that person was so impactful on your life that you get to miss them and their physical being. That means that they graced your presence and their existence enough so that you get to miss them.
Is it possible this story is true? Yes, it is. You're right. It's fact.
We're all here walking each other home. Every last one of us, you got to embrace it. I don't care if you embrace it today, tomorrow, whenever. We're all going to leave this ego. We're all going to depart from this flesh. All of us are walking each other home. So do you keep taking it as if God did something to you because it took, this person that you love away from you? No. Or are you going to realize that now when you cross over, that person's waiting on you? They'll be there to greet you. You got people on the other side.
Is it possible this story is true? Yes, it is. You're right. It's fact.
So it's a perceived negative experience to miss someone, right? Because they're not here anymore. But really what it is the fact that while they're not here, you get to have them live on through your experiences by expressing those with other people and remembering them. You get to live those moments with them over and over again in your mind's eye. How beautiful is that? How beautiful was the whole experience? They impacted your being. Rejoice in the fact that you had that experience with them. It's not promised. You're not promised. That's why everybody's so running around here worried about the end of days. That could be right now, right here for anybody. Time is the one thing that we spend without knowing the balance. You have no idea. And yet, so many people waste so much of their time in the perceived negative experiences. Heaven and hell is a state of mind. It's all happening to you. It's all happening through you. It's all happening for you. It's all happening. It's happening. It's your happenstance. And it's your decision on how you want to take that experience. I've experienced some negative things in life that I perceived negative at the moment. And then I looked back in retrospect and was like, oh my, I'm so glad that happened. Because if it wouldn't have happened, I would have been miserable years from now. I would have wasted another 3, 4, 5 years with this person.
Wait, you think I didn't think of that? Of course I thought of that.
So, it's taking it in and sipping at life every day. Like you said, one step at a time. Take it in. Take it in. I wake up every day and I connect with the consciousness of our beautiful sun. Why? Because it illuminates everything around me. That is an expression of love if I've ever seen one. Every single day that sun comes up and loves me enough to light up my world. And it's my world because it's all happening through me.
I know that's right. Goodness gracious. I know. So. Oh, man. This is a beautiful, beautiful moment. I would say this. All right. So what would you say? So, like, for example, what does it really mean to live in alignment with your higher self, right? And what changes when you do? Like, what is that? So when they say, yeah, you should be, you're low vibrational, low frequency. Well, what does it mean to be of high vibration, high frequency? You got it.
It's my natural state of being at this moment, and it wasn't always this way, but my natural state of being at this moment is I'm a very highly vibrational person, and because of that, I get to impact people's lives. I get to illuminate. But what it really means is, again, as I've said, it's becoming the observer. When you get to the point where you don't feel like everything is passing through your ego, and you step outside of your ego and look at it and go, wow, look, Christina, look at what you're doing, girl. Look at you. Look at your growth. Look at your understanding. Look at the love that is outpouring from you. Where is it coming from? How did it get there? How are you special enough to be able to receive it and then expel it to give it to others? It is the art of ascension is really the art of remembrance. You are an ascended being. You exist right now in a whole nother dimension, in many, many dimensions, on many, many levels. And again, we can go deep. But with that said, understanding your ascension is truly giving yourself the ability to see this entire existence from a different perspective and a place of immense love, because that's the truth of it all. It really is. Everything exists in two ways, and everything is our creator, because it wouldn't be here if it wasn't created. However, you can use your duality. You can use the perceived negative aspects of your life to incite growth within you. And that in and of itself is ascension. That's growth. That's what you're here to do. That's what you're here to do. You're here to remember who you are.
So if a lot of history has been lost with a lot of folks, for example, say, you know what I'm saying, folks like us, right? So if a lot of history's been lost, then, what would you say, like somebody like myself in particular, how do I find myself when there's so much of me that's been like discarded through time? I think a lot of people, my point is, right? You'll see where I'm at. I think a lot of us try to find ourselves through like the actual physical lineage as opposed to maybe the spiritual intuition of oneself. What is your take on those dualities and dynamics?
You are all of that. I am my ancestors. Do you know how many people it took to get me here in this moment? Now?
Exactly.
How many people had to meet? All of this divine inspiration that had to come about to get me here right now?
Goodness gracious. Talk about it. Talk about it.
With that said, my ancestors mean everything to me. I'm here to break generational curses. I'm here to bring light to the avoidance, which was what the previous generation was, the generation of avoidance. We're not touching that. We're not going to talk about that. We're just going to sweep that under the rug. I'm here to shed light on it so you can heal it and transmute it and turn it into something beautiful, because yes, it happened to you. Yes, it's happening in your physical existence. The whole point of this physical existence is to have you break free in the metaphysical. Freedom is sovereignty. Freedom is your intuition and letting it guide you and loving yourself enough to know that it's your truth. The point is all things. One is not more important than the other. It's very important that you're here right now. It's very important and incredibly sacred that you get to be in this moment. Right? Because this moment is the present. It's a gift. It's important that you're here. Because it took so many people to get you here. You think that was by accident?
Not by a long shot and or a chance.
Exactly. There is a very real design to this, to all parts of this. And when you give into the beauty of that design, you realize how much magic is here, and life becomes so much fun. It becomes a playground, especially when you learn how to silence the distraction and quiet the noise and just step into who it is that you really are, invoking the lessons of your ancestors, because they taught you things. They gave you things. The point is to make them proud. They're still with you. They've never left. They'll forever be, just like you are. The things that my parents gave me, whether they were perceived good or bad in the moment, have brought me to this point in my life. And for that, I am eternally grateful. I appreciate in and through their beings and their parents' parents and their parents' parents' parents. I went into a meditation one time and I asked, how do I change my life? How do I fix it? I was going through some things. How do I change this whole existence of my life? And in that moment, I had this beautiful voice, my guardian, right? My oversoul, my guides. The answer that I received was trace root. Trace root. And in that moment, I was like, what the hell is that? That's not what I needed. I needed you to tell me to take this step, this step, this step, not some trace root. What does that mean? I was frustrated, right? Because I wanted a quick answer. It was the point wasn't to get anything quick. The point is not to get through it quickly. The point is to juice it while you're in it. And when I learned the fact that I needed to trace the roots of my discontent, I had to trace the roots of my dis-ease. When I put myself in the understanding that my parents could only give me what they had to give. They couldn't give me what they didn't know within themselves. And my parents, our parents, were not taught self-love. It wasn't a discussion. Neither was mental health. These weren't things that were discussed. We're here now with the ability to get mental health assistance online. You don't even have to go into an office and be embarrassed like it used to be, you know?
Facts. Big facts.
So it's this entire existence is a thing of extreme beauty. It really is once you align with that perspective. Once you see that rejection is realignment, it's not a negative thing. That just means it wasn't meant for you. You're pining over something that is rejecting you. Meanwhile, what's meant for you is 10 times better. You're just not meant to see it all right away.
But again, one step at a time. But everybody's not used to taking in everything all at once, especially if you're coming from something that was, very much so. Let's say wasn't the most healthiest, and leave it at that.
Hell, none of us had it healthy. I didn't have it healthy. My parents couldn't give me again what they did not have. They didn't have health because they didn't come through it. It wasn't taught to them. That's not their responsibility. Their responsibility was to keep me alive for 18 years so that I could take it upon myself to step into my own journey. I'm not blaming anyone for anything, because each one of us here is in the art of we're dismembered, right? We're in the art of becoming whole. Those dismembered parts, they allow for things to creep in and set in that just take you, or, it's part of the resistance, right? But it's the art of understanding yourself and taking the responsibility. You have to take personal responsibility for your spiritual health. Yeah, that was beautiful. The idea that someone else is responsible for your healing is ludicrous, because no one can give it to you. It's yours.
That's
no
right.
one can give it to you. No one. And you gotta take personal responsibility for yourself. People are so concerned with the physical. All these people that are physically successful, physically wealthy, and spiritually bankrupt.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I gotta tell you, I'm a thick lady. I'm plump, right? I'm juicy. With that being said, my spirit body is fit to the point I 6-pack and everything else. I've been working on that. My spirit body has been in the gym. I'm talking about I pay attention to my
I ain't
spiritual.
mad.
I pay attention to my spiritual.
Don't give them that just yet. Don't give them that just yet. Just keep that mysterious.
All right.
Oh man, go ahead though. I hear you.
Yes, just my spiritual diet is incredibly important to me. What I allow to affect my spirit has to resonate with me in the moment. It
Okay, now.
has to work with my frequency. It has to be where it is that I am or where it is that I'm trying to get to.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes, because the frequency is what sends the connection of voltage. So, for example, you got a cord, you plug it into the wall. All right, but the frequency basically is the electricity pulsating through that wall, aka your bills are paid. Right?
Exactly.
Then once you plug that in, let's say, I don't know, it's a vacuum, whatever it is. Once you plug it in as a cord, generally, and that cord is that's where the transfer of energy lies. If you cut that cord, I mean, one, you might, off yourself. But if you do, yeah, you're going to cut the connection of how that energy source is being aligned. So even though the vacuum itself is not plugged into the wall, for the simple fact that it's a cord that's connected, that's in the wall, that is almost to a degree, to the decimal, how the connection of interaction works between us as people. It's about that energy connection. So when you cut the cord of the connection, then it don't matter if it's still plugged into the outlet, the vacuum won't work. But I'm saying too much. Yeah, I'm doing too much right now. What you got, beloved?
I mean, in the sense of what it is that you're saying, it's so metaphysically true, and we are individually connected and tethered to this entire this planet, right? Mother Earth. We couldn't be without Gaia, right? This is home. So, and we are tethered. We are spiritually connected to this beautiful rock that's incidentally is going through space at 66,627 miles per hour right now.
Wow.
Because of the laws that govern this atmosphere, you don't feel that.
Talk about it.
You don't feel that. That's the love here, right? You don't feel that. Imagine the wind. What it would be feeling like if we actually didn't have this atmosphere here that was keeping us tethered and alive on this beautiful, gorgeous rock.
Mm-hmm.
There is definitely an energetic tie. There's an energetic cord. And that cord, that frequency, has this innate ability to connect with other chords. The thing is paying very close attention and understanding and holding yourself in such regard with your sacredness that you don't just allow yourself to connect to anything, because there are anchors out here and there's succubi out here. They will drain you. They will drain you.
I know all about energy. Like, I know all about getting out of certain circumstances and being like, wow, I actually can breathe again. My chest is opened up again. Goodness gracious. What was that suffocating me? My goodness. Man. Talk about it. This is your show.
I'm saying it. No truer words have ever been said. You have to be mindful. That's why you can't go out here. See, the understanding of like religion, where it gives you these religious laws. The religious laws are not necessarily wrong in the sense that once you truly understand your sacredness and who it is that you really are, you don't want to be promiscuous. You don't want to just give yourself to anybody. You don't want to. I come from such a place of love that all I want to do is help people. That's it. I don't want to hurt anyone. I want to do no harm. I seek to do no harm. And that comes naturally because I love you. I genuinely love you. I love you. I love all aspects of you. Because you come through my computer and I'm connected to source. So I see you such a way that it is a beautiful alignment. It is just a beautiful essence. You get to be an expression of our creator. Who am I to want to hurt that? Why would I want to?
But see, the thing is that you actually see that. You know, not everybody
I
actually.
know. I get to see it.
I ain't mad at you. I would definitely say, definitely the experience of, yes, how you speak of it in the life. It's beyond a privilege, you know, to be able, like you said, the whole holy aspect. I'm just kind of like reflecting back, just in multiple ways, but it is. It is a very beautiful thing when you are in touch with yourself and when you find your fellow lamps who are also in touch and who get it, you know. What can be very frustrating, you know, I believe where the loneliness part comes in is feeling like you're the only one who actually gets it. When you know that you have exactly what it is that you want to say, and most people just don't get it. But the thing is this, you know, it's crazy because where you actually find that peace is when you recognize that don't nobody owe it to you to understand you. And once you're able to harness that, 1 second, I'm sorry. Hey, close the door. Hey, close the bathroom door, nephew, please. Yeah, that's that's echoing. Thank you. I apologize. So when you actually recognize that, it's like it eliminates you. It's basically prevention is better than the cure. If I already have it set in my mind, do you remember when we talked about this? Let's talk about this. All right, so bad. I said we should have a low expectation for people in order to keep the peace. You gave me a different answer, but before you give your answer, we have to give it up for our sponsors. And this right here, everybody, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and this quick commercial break is brought to you by what I tell every last one of y'all every day.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
I gotta keep going. 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 I don't half step cause I know the full truth. The devil cooking, he don't know that I could cook too. When life give me pressure, I still show the good fruit. I treat it like my last rep and I just push through. I don't believe in failure cause I can't afford it. And if it ain't meant for me, then I ain't about to force it. I think about the victory and trigger my endorphins. The mission too important, ain't no way I could abort it. So I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going.
All right. We are back. Rock out. So what would you say that is?
Could you repeat the question? I got completely distracted by that commercial break.
I'm saying oh man. Oh shoot. So basically, like, you know, knowing yourself, you know, that process.
Knowing yourself is the art of this whole thing. That is the whole thing, because like I said, it's the remembrance of self that you know where you've come from, the knowing. It's just the art of remembering. And that's what this is all about. All of it is remembering the self, remembering who you are. And once you truly understand and can see yourself, you will fall so deeply. Each of us is so incredibly beautiful. There's so much magic in each and every one of us. It is such a beautiful experience to get to be here, to get to express this, to have this conversation with you. Like, these sacred moments of life. And falling in love with yourself is one of the hardest and most demanding yet most beautiful things you'll ever do in this existence.
Really? Okay. So for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this right here, it's crazy you say that, right? So um so is this kind of like right around the frame in which you're thinking? I'm just curious. Are you when you say you fall in love with yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
No, that's giving somebody else way too much power. The point is to be whole and complete and find a compliment, not to give anyone the power of the love of you. You have to love you first, and then you'll find someone to
So
love.
uh, okay.
You'll
Go.
find a compliment. The point is at that point becomes alignment. Once you become whole and complete within yourself, your relationships change because you won't accept anything that actually burdens or hurts your soul.
That's why I actually played that because you know something. There's so much that I'm recognizing when I talk about the transcending aspects and levels. I realize that love is not an apple. Love is more like an onion. Like, it could make
Right?
you cry. Yeah, because of the layers. That's what I mean. Like if you split an apple open, it's just like once you get through the skin, that's it. And no, love is more onion like. I'm talking about in the sense of don't take it on the like, it's sour or nothing. No, literally how an onion is designed. Like if you cut an onion open, it's multiple, I mean, layers beyond layers beyond layers. And I look at love the same way. There are so many layers that come to love. It's not like cutting into an apple or a peach. Like, that whole once you cut through the skin, that's it. Okay, you see what it is, that's it. You're only going to see that until you hit the seed, the core. No, with the onion, you keep going, you keep going, you keep going. And you know what? It actually starts to change colors. It actually gets brighter, and to the point where you just get to where you see is this small portion of it. And that very center is the part in which you can grow from as well.